challenging the wisdom that you hear from so many motivational speakers, that you have to be the apex predator. Throughout history, it has been the folks who have been expressive and creative, oftentimes in spite of these apex predator types. The type of folks that would say, hey, I found a way for us to deal with storms, or how to survive fires, invasions from other humans, or vicious wild animals. Surely people would have had to group together to do such a thing, a threat we don't think about that much, in the modern day. Now, I want you to think, to remember a time that, believe it or not, you directly linked to your own natural intelligence. I will explain. Perhaps at work, you go to work, and there's a person there. We all have one, or two, or five, that you don't particularly like. You're having a pretty calm, relaxed day. That person says something to you. Potentially something very annoying. Or maybe they're just complaining a lot, like normal. You then stop and pause and think to yourself, instead of getting fired up, instead of those normal things firing off in your head, you begin to think to yourself, even if it's just for a split second, you know what? Maybe they're not so bad. Maybe they're going through something at home or feel undervalued here, whatever the case is. This glimpse of compassion is linked to the primal intelligence that we all need to survive, to thrive, to progress. It is those throughout history. I mentioned Tesla in an early video. Nikola Tesla was not a predatory hawk of a human being, yet he changed the course of humanity. What I am saying is that the apex predatory types are not the ones that make things move forward. They are the types, the apex predators are the ones who feed off of the actual creative, expressive, inventive individuals, finding new resources or ways to work with old ones. As I said, invention, survival, expression, defense, primal, protective intelligence. Now, I'm going to share something with you. Something that those close to me might not even know about me. I, Daniel Michael, do not like crowds. Yes, crowded events, especially ones where I feel like I can barely move. You see, what happens is that in a crowd, logic and introspection can very quickly vanish, can disappear altogether if it was ever there. Think to yourself. Think back in your mind to a time when you were at an event, one that you wanted to go to. Maybe it was a concert, sporting event, political rally, whatever it was. Have you ever experienced The crowd taking on a mind, a life, a soul of its own, a spirit of its own. In 1895, Gustave Le Bon wrote a book on this subject. This is in 1895. Many world leaders have forged techniques from this book. Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, Vladimir Lenin. It was considered back then, by the way, the book was called The Crowd or Psychology of Crowds. It was considered back then unscientific for the masses to demand things or to in any way take part in the ruling of things. After all, the elites were the professionals. They were the ones who were qualified. This is the link, folks. The link I am making is that even though this crowd mindset, which can be easily led astray or swayed with catchy slogans, sayings, phrases, maybe a jingle or a song, it can also be a power for good. But so oftentimes, it lacks the content and the introspection necessary for proper forward movement. It's why I don't like protests at all. And I've run for political office in the past. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm talking about, though I'm not fond of the crowd mind, we do all need each other. Meditation, the pause, stillness, the weapon of stillness, can allow us to be strong enough and calm enough and introspective enough and effective enough to know that yes, we do need each other. That yes, our compassion for each other is linked to our direct primal intelligence, our survival, even if it was for, in some roundabout, round the neighborhood way, to serve ourselves. Because service to others is service to ourselves. Warrior Seed. Meditation is a weapon. It's a beautiful Saturday here in Hagerstown, Maryland, my new home in the mountains. I'm Daniel Michael. Have a great day.